Hi, I'm sorry I didn't get this up yesterday. I don't know what I was thinking. I did get everything of yours graded yesterday, and the grades are in the are with the grades and with comments. The night log, some things that I saw that were kind of weaknesses. I've added links in the Nazi assault log to help you with summaries, quote analysis, and creating questions. Some of you were just telling me random facts about what happened in the book. And what you need to do is when you're writing a summary, it doesn't matter whether it's a summary for the log or a summary for another class, you need to identify the main idea in the reading. And then you pick quotes and you pick facts to support that main idea. Rather than having random ideas here and there and everywhere, you make sure that you have this summary. And I have a link there in the Nazi Assault to read. Quote analysis is not simply telling me what the quote says. I know that. I read it. Okay? It goes deeper than that. And I want you to start thinking about how it relates to other writings in the book or that we've read, how the Nazi assault relates to the links and the videos, because there's a lot in this unit. Because understanding anti-Semitic thoughts and feelings and actions are the basis for understanding the Holocaust. So when you're analyzing a quote, don't just tell me what it says, tell me how it relates to other things that you've read, including Night and Fog, and including the other videos in this week's text. And creating questions is not optional. You must create questions, and I have added Bloom's taxonomy of questioning to help you understand what I mean. When you click on Bloom's taxonomy, there is a PDF file here. And some of you were writing questions on the knowledge, comprehension, and application. Things like what happened to his mother, what happened to the sisters, which I did explain in last week's video. So you were on the comprehension level rather than on the levels of analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Analysis might be a question that you would write on what could have stopped, or what could have stopped the Holocaust? What could have stopped the rise of anti-Semitic feeling? That would be something that would be an analysis question. Evaluation, and notice these words too: analyze, distinguish. You can write questions with these words that will write questions that show a deeper understanding or questioning of what you've read. So I would, if I were you, I would download this and save it, not just for this class, but for understanding how to write questions and also how to answer questions when you see them on exams. Let's get back to, where am I? Let's get back to here. Okay. So I hope I haven't confused you, but, I hope I haven't confused you, but these are the weaknesses that I saw in the night logs, and I'm trying to help you with these links create better logs for this time. The rise of Nazism is incredibly important to your understanding of the Holocaust, as I've said. The text will tell you how Hitler took power. It'll tell you how Hitler systematically began assaulting the Jews. And the links in the videos, and there are many, and you need to follow all of them, explain anti-Semitism, not just back in the 30s and early 40s, but into today's world. So you need to be sure that you have read and looked at all of these. They are supplements to the text because the text leaves things out. It gives a brief definition of what anti-Semitic feelings are, but it doesn't kind of fill in the blanks. Please don't ignore them. It'll help you with the log, and it's also important for you writing the discussion board. The discussion board asks you to relate what you read and heard about anti-Semitism to today's society. What do you see around us that smacks of anti-Semitic feeling or anybody feeling in the world today? Don't look for the obvious. Look carefully at the subject and where do you see this type of systematic discrimination going on in the world today, and very carefully explain what that is and how it compares to the Holocaust. The quiz is true-false. It's 40 points, and be sure you've read and followed all the links in addition to the reading for the quiz. That's going to be very important. And finally, these are the two questions that seem to come up most often on the night log. And to me, they're two questions that are almost unanswerable. Why did Hitler scapegoat the Jews? He went after them because they were an easy target. There was already anti-Semitic feeling in Europe at the time, and so he capitalized on what was already there. He made them the scapegoats by comparing them to vermin. He made them scapegoats by blaming them for losing World War I. He made them scapegoats by saying that they controlled all the money in the world. However, the why is harder to figure out. And even though those are reasons he scapegoated them, why did he go so viciously after them? We don't know. A false rumor that goes around is that Hitler had Jewish blood in him. No, he didn't. That for sure is not true. And the idea, and one of the biggest ideas of anti-Semitic feeling, is that the Jews somehow had different blood, and that they were an ethnic or a nationality unto themselves, and they are not and were not. Hitler worked to make people think that the Jews had tainted blood and were separate. He equated Jewish blood with being a Jew. Being a Jew, any one of us could become a Jew if we went through the rabbinical teachings with a rabbi, and we could be led into the Jewish faith. There are black Jews. There are totally American Jews. It's not a blood. It's not a race line. But Hitler has made it so that we think of Jews as separate from us. And this still persists in our society. And, he had a very powerful effect because of that. So don't get that confused. The other thing is, how can people, many of you asked, conduct vicious attacks on others? Well, when you have your leader and you have propaganda, and that's another thing, that's what my video at the very beginning of the lesson talks about, is the role of propaganda in perpetuating the idea that Jews were vermin, Jews were subhuman, Jews were not like us, Jews were very different from us. And when you start thinking of a group of people as rats or dirty or somehow inferior to yourselves, then it's very easy for people to have these feelings and then to go out and conduct the attacks on others. We see it today, too. We see people conducting attacks on others because they are somehow different. And this has been subject of media and news reports. You may have even grown up hearing things about why certain people are not as good as you. As soon as you start thinking you are superior to another group, then you start looking down on them, and it's not hard when your government, like the German government at that time, was spewing out hatred. In fact, they were teaching this in the schools. Don't forget that fact. You'll read more about this and you'll see it in the links. Please make sure that you work carefully and fully on this week's lesson. As I said, it is the foundation of how this started to happen, why it started to happen. If you have any questions, please, of course, contact me on Remind, and I would be happy to answer you. Bye-bye.